to the time of the Persians. I have to get my visuals over here. Somebody hid them.
And your audience is in the front row.
Okie dokie. So, first of all, the Persians made wreaths out of fabric, and they had precious stones on them, as you can imagine these. And they were worn by, yes, they were worn by people in charge, and they symbolized power and authority. Okay, so then we move on to the Egyptians, and they had a very different use. One of the uses they used for wreaths was to make one of flowers and place it on the head of their loved ones who died because they believed in an afterlife. And this was symbolic of them moving into their new afterlife. So moving right along, we go to the ancient Greeks. Okay, and the ancient Greeks made wreaths out of leaves, usually laurel leaves or some other green leaf, and they were also worn by people of authority. However, the Greeks were very generous, and they wanted to award their warriors who were victorious. And so they would often award them to warriors. Now, they also awarded them to athletes who ran a great race and won. And then they also, once in a while, awarded one to a poet. Shakespeare wasn't born yet, so don't. So, the victorious people often wanted, and they were mostly men, wanted to let everyone know that they were victorious, so they often hung them outside on their door. And then fast forward to the pagans and the Renaissance, and the pagans celebrated the winter solstice, which is, of course, the time when the sun stays out longer and spring comes. So, the pagans used these as religious. They were a religious group. Now,
we're not to Rudolph yet.
Yes. The Ramadan is also a holiday, a religious holiday that's celebrated by Muslims. And they have a long period of fasting to cleanse their soul and to get ready for the next year. And that is not a crown. That is a wreath that is hung on the door. So, or maybe on a wall or on a table. But you see, it's unusual. Oh, it has stars on it, so, and it has lots of colors. So it's a holy symbol also. It just says, Happy Ramadan. And that's sort of what the Christmas wreaths say. But of course, this is another holy symbol made of pines or flowers, poinsettias. And it represents something very holy to the Christians. It represents eternal life, or the enduring love of God, and also is reminiscent of the thorns that Jesus wore when he was crucified. So these are only a few samples, because there are lots of other groups of people, both religious and non-religious, who use wreaths throughout history. But we started back 2,600 years ago. So that's 600 years before Christ was born, plus the 2,000, almost 20 years now since Christ was born, and we have still celebrations of wreaths, but whether they are religious symbols or victorious symbols or authority symbols, they have a long history and a very interesting history. So next time you see a wreath, try and remember that it does have a lot to say about history.